Hello. Today, we'll take a brief look at what James A. Brooks says about the ending of the Gospel of Mark in the New American Commentary, an exegetical and theological exposition of Holy Scripture from the NIV text. This is from 1991, so what he says is not about the 2011 NIV, it is the 1984 NIV. On page 273, James A. Brooks wrote that Mark 16 ends at verse 8 in two earliest and generally regarded most reliable Greek manuscripts. In one inferior Greek manuscript, in most Greek lectionaries, apparently because the lectionaries reflect older texts, in one Syriac manuscript, in one Coptic manuscript, in some Armenian manuscripts, in the two oldest Georgian manuscripts, and in several early Christian writers, including Clement of Alexandria, dated around 82 D. It died around 8215, and Origen died in 8254. Now, already there are some problems here, some false statements. And there's a problem I see in his presentation of evidence to the reader. First, he does not give any idea of the count. And of course, numbers are not decisive. But to give people an idea of what is the lay of the land, we should get a count of manuscripts if we're going to use numbers to start with. He refers to the two earliest and most generally regarded most reliable Greek manuscripts. That is, Vaticanus and Sinaiticus. That's what he's referring to. So, once again, we see the hand of Metzger being echoed by James Brooks. But also, James Brooks gets his facts wrong when he says, in most Greek lectionaries, the Gospel of Mark ends at 16:8. That's false. The lectionaries have 16:9-20 as a very prominent reading for Ascension Day in the series of 11 readings called the Hyothina. So what he's not saying is how much there is on the other side. How Codex D has verses 9-20, or at least because of damage 9 through 15. But he says that the gospel ends at verse 8 in Clement of Alexandria. That's not true. Clement is simply a silent witness. Clement does not quote from any of Mark 16. Likewise, Jerome. Where's his comments about oodles of 12-verse segments of Mark? On my blog, I go into the details about how sparsely Clement and Origen use the Gospel of Mark, and the non-use of verses 9-20, if they don't use 9-20, that would mean nothing. Do we say that Matthew ends in Matthew 27 in Origen's copies because he doesn't use Matthew 20-28? No, because that's silly. And James Brooks is giving a silly impression to his readers. Now, as James Brooks, he's very clearly has swallowed Metzger's commentary very heavily, saying that most Greek manuscripts have the inferior medieval type of text. That's the Byzantine text. What does he call it? What does he call it medieval? If he had read Hort more carefully, he would know that Hort, as rightly so, regarded the Byzantine text as the same thing as the Syrian text. Hort used different nomenclature, but when Hort says Syrian, he means Byzantine. And Hort was very clear. The text that was used by Chrysostom and by the whole bulk of church writers after Chrysostom, that is the Byzantine text. That is not medieval, like we're thinking Charlemagne all the way up to the Renaissance. That's from the time of the Roman Empire. So when you have the Byzantine text existing in the late 300s, and obviously you have there because it's the basis for the Catholic version of the Gospels and for the Peshitta. James Brooks, why do you call it medieval? You're just trying to put it down and give readers a reason to casually dismiss it like you do. So I encourage you, when you pick up this book, if you can still find it at your library, take it with a grain of salt because James Brooks gets his facts wrong. Thank you.